Have you guys tried these? My roommate turned me onto them and I really, really like them. Anyway guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I want to talk about something that I've been hearing a lot about in my own personal life. If you don't know, my plan is to go back to Korea in August to start the fall semester, doing some more Korean studying. And so as August slowly approaches, from my friends and my family and even some of my coworkers, a lot of people are saying, wow, you must be so excited to go back to Korea. Wow, you must be so excited. And I am really excited. I'm really happy to be back in the United States right now. There is so much that I love and appreciate about being an American citizen and being able to call this my home. But there are so many things I really do miss about Korea, and today I want to tell you why I'm missing Korea right now. So the first thing that I think about is the safety. Oh my gosh, do I miss the safety of living in South Korea. When people ask me, what's it like to live in South Korea? What do you miss about South Korea? Safety is honestly one of the biggest things that I bring up. I felt comfortable walking anywhere at any time of day or night. I would frequently wake up at 3, 4 in the morning and want something savory to eat, and I would walk to the convenience store, $2, $3, walk back, and I felt totally comfortable. So one of the biggest reverse culture shock moments for me when coming back to the United States was one of my friends reminding me to download, I think it was called like Neighborhood or like Civilian. It was this app to check on the safety of your neighborhood, and it'll alert you if something dangerous is happening. And it was this moment where I really, sort of took Korean safety for granted. I'm out here in Columbus, and just a few days ago there was a drive-by, just 10-15 minutes away from where I live, and it's those moments that, really, first of all, how sad, and also just, oh my gosh, do I want to be back in Korea. It is so much safer. Now, on a more lighter note, I really miss food. I am, in dire need of some good Korean food. And if you know me, you know that I cannot cook. If it's toast or coffee, I'm in the clear. And everything else, it's just too complicated. I have tried a few different Korean places out here, and while they've been okay, there's just something about the ingredients here. There's something about the way that Korean food is made out here. It's just not as good as it is in Korea. And not only that, but I find that really good Korean food out in Korea is much healthier and it's much more filling. So in Korea, I feel like I would eat smaller portions and feel fuller, and I would feel fuller for longer. But the thing about food here in the United States is I feel like I'm eating larger portions and I'm still not getting as full as quickly, and I also feel like I'm getting hungrier faster. And so of course, there's a lot of fast food out in Korea, but I do feel like there is a much different sort of push for healthier eating and not eating fast food as much out in Korea. But here, it's just so accessible and it doesn't help that I don't cook very well, but I really do miss Korean food so much. Oh my god. The next thing, and something that is really important to me as someone who doesn't drive, I miss Korean public transportation so much. There is almost no place that is inaccessible via public transportation, whether it be the subway or the buses or taxis. They are so efficient, always on time, and extremely inexpensive. To put it into perspective, here in Columbus, I am paying about $2 per bus ride, and in Korea, I was paying $1. Subways and buses in Korea were always on time. I cannot express this to you. A bus being 2 minutes late was unheard of. Here, I've had buses just not even show up. Seriously. And it's really frustrating. Not only that, but taking a taxi in Korea is so affordable. I could go from downtown to my home all the way at the end of the city for $14 US. And I don't even want to imagine what an Uber or a Lyft would cost for that same thing out here. It would be ridiculous. The last thing I'll say about public transportation is it is so quiet. There is such great public transportation etiquette in South Korea. Here, I feel like it's a little dirtier. People don't really treat it with the level of respect they do in South Korea. People are talking really loudly, they're on the phone, they're listening to music. But out in Korea, people really treat it as a time to just be quiet, just play on your play on your phone, and just really respect the people around you. And frankly, there's not that same common courtesy here in the United States. Size. The size of Korea is a lot smaller, but everything being smaller means that you can fit so much more, so much closer. I had to walk a minute and a half to go to the nearest convenience store. The nearest grocery store to me was 2 minutes away. My school was 10 minutes away by walking. My work was 8 minutes away. I mean, everything was so close to me. It was amazing. The closest convenience store to me is about a 20-minute walk. And quite frankly, it really borders on a not so great neighborhood. So of course I'm not really a big fan of going there. There are so few establishments in my neck of the woods. I've got a few different cafes, fairly far off, some restaurants, but there isn't that diversity of really easily accessible things around me. It just bums me out. It's just such a shame that everything is just so far away from me. And it doesn't really matter where you are in the United States. It's going to be a lot farther away than things out in Korea. And the last thing, and this is very, very, very fickle. This is just my own personal love of fashion and hair and makeup. But I really, really miss the beauty, the fashion, and the trends out in South Korea. I hear a lot from foreigners out in Korea that everything's a little too samesies out in Korea. And while I don't disagree with that, I think that things move a lot more dynamically in South Korea, and the fashion does tend to change, and people like to play with it a little bit more than they do here in the United States. I mean, since I've been out in Korea, for the 2.5 years that I was out there, all of these different colors and patterns and styles came in, and things were moving so quickly. And I came back to the United States, and it felt, quite frankly, like I hadn't even left in terms of fashion. And that is, a little frustrating to me. I don't know, I feel like I had a little more excitement and liberty, and people didn't really judge as much when I played with fashion out in South Korea. But here in the United States, I do think that you hear a lot more comments about it, and yeah, I don't know. It's not the same. The fashion and the beauty culture here in the United States, it's just not the same, and I miss it. Thank you for listening to, my 5 o'clock shadow and I stumble through this new YouTube video. I really hope that this sort of put into perspective about what I'm missing about South Korea, and some of the things that I'm not quite enjoying about America right now. When I go back to Korea, I do have a plan to make a video where I talk about what I'm missing about the United States, because when I was in Korea, there were plenty of things that I missed about the United States as well. I'm not sitting here telling you that Korea is perfect and that I love everything about it. I'm saying that both countries have pros and cons, and we need to remember that there is no such thing as a perfect country, no such thing as a perfect culture, and it all just depends on you and making the best out of it. Everyone, thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked it and you want to support this channel, go ahead and like and subscribe, and hopefully I'll see you in my next video. Bye guys!